How long is that going to take you to finish? You and all your eating. Do you want to finish that before we start?
Well, we can just start. Good to go. I mean, it's not that bad. I won't make noise here. I'll put it on the napkin.
You literally just, we're going to go. You sound like you just have the whole entire mouth. Oh, I'm good to go. It doesn't sound like you're good to go.
No, I'm good. Doesn't even sound like I have food in my mouth right now, but I do.
That's how you die. At least we got it on camera. Okay, let's record. I'll double check if that's recording. Oh, my fucking back. My back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Cantina Conversations. I'm the 12 parsecs racing. Try us now.
I am the walking carpet, Taylor Field.
Oof. Yes. We are back. We've not done a Cantina in a while. We've been busy. Lots of other spin-off shows. With Infinity War coming out, the Marvel Retro kind of took over. But we're getting back in this. And other spin-off shows should be coming back relatively soon. But I'm happy that this is back because Han Solo is nearly upon us. Now, when we record this was around like the end of April. So there was that last trailer. I don't know if they're putting out another trailer, but if there was,
I don't think so.
we won't be.
Final trailer.
I think so, but if there was, then we won't be talking about that. We wouldn't be talking about TV spots or clips anyways, because we don't usually watch those. Yeah. So this is going to be just a Han Solo kind of mini predictions, kind of what we want. So just an episode to get Cantina Conversations back into your galaxy, because, yeah, we haven't done it in a while. We soon, at some point, are going to do a debate episode about does canon really matter, because it does not matter at all. Zip %.
I have arguments in this episode. I'm going to bring that up.
In this episode?
Yeah.
You can't use movie canon. No, I'm not talking. That's not what I talk about. Don't look at me like Pennywise looking at some kid. No, I'm just talking movie canon. So sorry.
What you don't? Well, you don't include books and stuff as canon?
No, I mean, I'm not talking about movie canon. I mean, talking about that's another issue. Okay, no, because you're gonna bring it up. Canon to me is everything but the movies. I feel like nothing except the movies really count.
Everything on top of the movies counts.
Not
the TV
really.
show and everything.
It doesn't count.
Yeah,
it has no bearing on the universe.
There's ships in the movies that were introduced in the TV show.
But they don't make a big difference. What do they do plot-wise that make a difference to the universe? Why does time travel hasn't made any difference? Why does Darth Maul make any difference? It doesn't. None of the stuff that happens in these TV shows, the major stuff, or books carry over. Thrawn, Thrawn's gonna pop up in a movie, this and that. Guess what? No, he's not. They wasted him in a fucking little animated show that's ending. They wasted a good character in just some fucking show to get people like you nerds to go watch
So the
it.
new TV show directed by Jon Favreau, it's not gonna have any relevance to the movies.
Live action. 100%.
No. You're contradicting yourself. It's
Okay.
a TV show.
I will change my tune and say I'll think that will. Yes, live action. Because it's Disney, it's streaming, it's going to be on the streaming
So Star Wars Rebels is Disney, and it'll be streaming on the live.
But it doesn't matter. There's these fucking little animated characters.
Oh, come on! You're
hypocritical. No, I'm not. Okay, I will say no, because you're right about that. I will say live action stuff, though, because that actually means something, and people are actually going to go watch that stuff.
Are you kidding me? That is bullshit.
Okay, this apparently is just a Han Solo predictions and the canon debate episode happening right now. Because, no, it's not bullshit, because none of the stuff in books, in these new books, these comic books, anything like that, have made a big deal into the movies. The most I feel we got was like Saw Gerrera, but like that was just a fun little wink because he dies right away. So it's not like there's stuff where like Solo has that wife, right, that he married before. I thought she was going to be in Solo, and that would have made a difference. Like, oh, we met her, and like she was introduced there. I don't think anything main or big or important, like a Darth Maul, like a Thrawn, is coming over and will come over. And that's why I say live action, because live action, that's Jon Favreau, that's a Disney streaming app, that is going to have millions of dollars of production behind it. I don't think Rebels, which is just this cute little show for kids, and Star Wars Hardcore, Star Wars Hardcore fans, really matters, because yeah, their ship can appear in Rogue One, but it means nothing. Ezra and fucking Canon or whatever, Galen, what is his name? The other, who's the blind?
Ezra Bridger. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Exactly. See, he's nobody. But like the fact of them being Jedis will never ever be mentioned in the movies. You know why? Because they're not important. None of this. Here's my point. Then you can counter. Almost anything. I'd say like 98% of the things that happen in canon, and that's why I can say canon doesn't really matter. 98% of them do not affect the movies at all because you could take them out and there would be no difference. Take out the stuff in Clone Wars, take out Rebels, take out these games and comics. None of it matters. It has no impact on the movies, which is the main thing. The TV show, yes, I'll give you, but that's live action.
Here's the thing, though. Now, yes, it may not impact the movies or whatever, because the movies have their own stories or whatever, but then if you take out the Clone Wars, if you take out the novels, you take out the Rebels TV series, then that leaves
free time you guys could have.
that leaves it completely open now for people to wonder, okay, what actually happened throughout that time? Like, what
Did you write down some arguments or something?
I have a lot of arguments up here.
Oh my god! I'm not even prepared for this. This is fucking. This supposed to be a
It's impossible to get everything into the movies. Books solve that. It's another thing like, for example, like with Kanji Club and the Guavian Death Gang. So basically, Han's double cross. That's something that C-3PO has in place with that.
But they don't. I'm not saying. This is the thing. Your argument is, I think, different than mine. Where I don't. When I say canon doesn't matter, I don't mean the fact of like, yes, it expands the lore. Yes, there's some good stuff out there. There's entertainment, and you get to learn about certain things we never could. That I understand, but what I mean as far as it doesn't matter, it doesn't impact the main story. And even with the main story...
Yes, I got one for you.
Okay, there we go. Go.
So, in Star Wars Rebels cartoon, Leia gives the Rebellion Hammerhead Corvettes. Now, in Star Wars Rogue One, what helps destroy the shield gate? A Hammerhead Corvette. It rams in the Star Destroyer, takes out the other Star Destroyer, and it frees up the shield gate.
Is it those exact ones?
Yep. The Hammerhead Corvettes were developed and given to the Rebellion by Leia in Star Wars Rebels.
But that... This is what I mean, though. You take out the Rebels thing, and you can just say these are ships. That's such a minor thing, Taylor. That has nothing to do with character or a big storyline, but it's not. Because that is what you are saying, where it is, that's a ship, and it explains a little bit of what that ship is. It doesn't mean if you take that out, and you go, hey, they don't explain what the ships are, the ships can still be there. It's different for me if Thrawn goes in a movie, and you take out his Rebels thing and they talk about in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, all that existed. And let's say they talk about, oh yeah, he was doing this in Rebels, he was doing this in Rebels, they talk about that. But if you take Rebels out right now, that doesn't change what happened with these ships. The ships are still going to happen. It's just, how did we get there? It's just showing how the salami is made. And that's great if you want to be a cook and a chef, and that's what the Star Wars thing is. If you want to be a hardcore Star Wars fan, you can look into the nitty-gritty of this. I feel like I love Star Wars just as much as other fans out there, but just because I don't need to get into these details that are like little I feel like the canon is just like little fun trivia stuff. It doesn't really matter. There's stories that aren't that important, because if they were important, they'd be on the big screen or on the streaming service. Like
not necessarily. Sometimes other stories...
No.
Sometimes the other most important stories can't be up on the big screen, like Thrawn.
Why?
Thrawn's story.
It's not an important story.
It's a very important story.
What has he impacted so far as in the overall main canon of Star Wars?
In the main canon?
Yeah. What difference has he made? In this iteration, not the old time.
He helped develop the TIE Defender program.
Any Joe Blow could have done that.
No. He realized and discovered the Death Star project, and I haven't read the new novel, but he teams up with Darth Vader.
Yeah, but Darth Vader teamed with a lot of people. The Death Star is already being made.
How do you feel then about them taking another Clone Wars character and introducing into Star Wars Han Solo?
Which is that?
He's an alien. I can't remember his name. But
and how big a role is he going to have?
He's either the one that actually works with Darth Maul, or...
No, in this movie.
In Solo? I don't know yet.
Yeah, so ask me that after the movie. Because if it's Saw Gerrera, then go fuck yourself.
It's not Saw Gerrera.
You don't know that.
I know which alien it is.
No, but I mean like the size of his role.
Oh.
If it's a Saw Gerrera role, that I did think when we started. So Force Awakens happens, right? And then they announced we're doing books, we're doing this, yada yada yada. And then they announced Saw Gerrera is gonna be a Rogue One. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a Clone Wars character, tying it together, and that's what I mean. I don't necessarily need Thrawn to be in this, and then he's gonna be the villain in Episode 9. But I feel like it just is starting to matter less. Maybe Solo will prove me wrong, but Saw Gerrera, and you saw a few things from Rebels. I feel like they more so are just ignoring that, like stuff like time travel. They're just ignoring that stuff like Obi-Wan with Darth Maul. They make that Obi-Wan movie. If they were to, that's why for me I thought that was a perfect set to put Darth Maul in the movie. And then you go, oh, how's Darth Maul alive? And then you go, this. There's the thing with your whole ships thing. Oh, look, these ships are here. I don't need to know when I look at those ships and go, man, I need to know who made these ships and who did them. If Darth Maul appeared in the Obi-Wan movie and he died in Phantom Menace and you went, man, like, how did this happen? I thought he was dead. And they went, oh, you got to go back and watch Rebels or Clone Wars. You go, okay, that's huge. You don't gotta go back and watch those TV shows to see how the fucking ships were made. Like, it's such a minor thing.
Well,
like, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. It's minor. It's something no one really cares. It doesn't really affect the main story or the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something like Darth Maul being alive does, and you have to go, oh, or something like a Thrawn pops up. Who's this? How did he get here? Oh, go watch Rebels. Go read the book. But, like, those characters don't exist. You don't need to go watch Clone Wars for Saw Gerrera. Saw Gerrera is such a fucking minor part of Rogue One, and his stuff with in Clone Wars of him being like a radical. That's all I say in Rogue One. He's a radical. His story is about Jinn. It's not even about stuff of the past.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think there's so
Right.
There's so many stories, and they all impact Star Wars.
Great stories.
Star Wars itself, the movies, they're focusing on the Skywalker legacy, and
they help Star Wars. They don't impact Star Wars. Why? Like. Because something like the time travel thing, which I've not looked that much into, I just think, one, that's not a thing that Star Wars needed. Super lame for Rebels to do that. But two, will that ever appear in a main movie?
Honestly, it could. In some shape or form, it very well could.
It could, but do you think yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
you think Thrawn appears in a live-action movie?
Yes.
Or TV show?
Because he's not dead.
Okay. You think Darth Maul ever does?
No, because I don't think he will, because his story is definitely over.
Okay, I will just say, once those things start to happen, you can tell me I'm wrong. But those things are not happening. Saw doesn't count. These little, how these ships get made. Who cares how these ships got made? That's not what makes my Star Wars fan. It's great stories. And these could be great stories, but they're great little side tales that have nothing to do. They don't really flesh out. They don't flesh out Star Wars at all. They flesh out as far as they flesh out as information and like, oh look, I know how this was done, and like there's some cool stories to get a little more backstory, but they don't really flesh out as far as it's not a part of the bigger world. It's the same thing as I'll like throw it under the bus for me. Like Marvel, Netflix, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're all pitched to be like, yeah, they're gonna be a part of this big universe and impact each other. We haven't seen Infinity War at the time of this taping, but like there's no Defenders popping up in there. Coulson is like alive, but in the movies they're just like, yeah, he's dead. I feel like the Star Wars movies do the same thing, where they're like, them saying, oh, this is canon and it matters, just makes that a sexier headline, so you'd go buy it. But really, these just still feel like they could be like legend tales and it wouldn't even matter.
But did you partake in most of the legend tales before, aside from Knights of the Old Republic? Did you look into any of the other stuff?
Here and there, but not really, because I guess I never had too much of an interest. Like I did like the I guess what would it be, like Cliff Notes, look at certain stuff, but no, because I like the movies, and I feel like a lot of people are like that, and there's a few things here and there, but I don't, that was tough, because Lucas said, oh yeah, this is what happens, and we just follow the books, but I never liked that, because there's just a lot of weird, random, crazy shit that happened in those books. Like, I'm kind of glad they got rid of all the stuff, because there's way too much going on. So.
And see, that's why it's huge, because there's so much of the story that has been removed that we don't know really what happens. Like even then, we don't even know about Knights of the Old Republic and really what happened that whole time period. We just know selective things. That's why with lore for me, like it's huge when they dish out new canon and stuff like that, because I want to know these things.
But that's the difference when you say, oh, after the movies we didn't know anything else that was going on. They made books about Han and Leia's kids and Luke's kids, everything like that, right? But they're all that big stuff they're doing in the movies. All the stuff like, hey, you want backstory on Han Solo? We're doing that in the movies. We're not doing, maybe Knights of the Old Republic will be the TV show, but even just minor stuff like we're not doing a Darth Revan right now. We're not doing a Thrawn movie. That stuff that's like, that's what those fans liked. So we make a Thrawn book, we put them on Rebels. It'll give us a nice little bump. But I don't think they look at it and they go, oh, we need them in the movie. I don't think Thrawn's gonna be in your movie.
I think he will at some point.
What movie?
I think honestly, they could drop him as a character in frickin' what do you call it? Episode 9.
Yeah, and then he can go off like Admiral Akbar and just die when the ship explodes.
No, frig no.
Admiral Akbar went that way
because that's the that's why am I dropping a blank right now on his name? It's not the JJ way of doing things.
Ryan Johnson.
The Ryan Johnson way of doing things. Yeah, but
are you turning on him now?
No,
like
I'm not. I like his movies, but I think
his movie. You've only seen one movie of his.
Yeah, I think. No, as far as like this content goes, I think that even with like Star Wars Battlefront and how it starts off with its story and it progresses after the events of Episode 6.
There's another one, that fucking chick who's the main campaign person in Battlefront 2. Doesn't mean anything. Has no bearing on the rest of the universe.
Yes, actually has a huge effect on the story, and I can prove your point right here. The only reason Poe the only reason Poe knew how to take down that Super Star Destroyer or whatever, and actually pinpoint where its weak points were, and the bombers were able to bomb it, was because Iden Versio, after Starkiller Base got blown up, they actually encountered it, and they were able to actually board one, get the plans, and submit it to the Resistance.
It's always, your points are always just some like NPC character that gives out exposition, like info. Like it's never a vital character moment. Like anybody else could told pull that information at some point. Like that's why, that's how they get you little nerds, is they make you seem like, oh, she gave him the plans to do all this, but it's like he could have just fucking read a book, or they could have just like hacked into the system and got that. They just throw that to her to make her seem important. And it's like, oh, without Ian, we never could have done this, right? Without her, we could have never done this. But it's like, that's the way they've written it. It doesn't mean much, because like, ask anyone who's seen those movies. It doesn't matter how Poe knows to destroy that.
Well, what about with the mission in the game? Luke actually encounters one of the stormtroopers, and he goes to the Sidious's vault and finds the artifact that lets him find Achito, which is the temple that we find him in the movies. He wouldn't have been able to find the island if we didn't get to experience that in the game.
But that's such a minor thing in the movies. You know why?
Why?
Because when we get here, he's already on this island. They don't have to explain. Do they once in the movies explain?
The artifact is in the movie, though.
No, it is.
From the game.
But then they put it in the game to make it feel more important. This is the thing. The canon just explains the shit that the movies go, meh, we don't care. We don't need to explain this. In the movies, they don't go, why is Luke on this island? Like, they say, oh, because the Jedi Temple, but they don't need to show them the exact how he got there. That's like, oh, we'll put that in the canon for those nerds to enjoy. Like, it's not like a big plot point. They do stuff, but it's like, easily, we can end this podcast, and then I can do a separate podcast talking about what we did in between the cast, and how you walked out of my door and everything like that. And you couldn't have walked out of it without like that. Like,
so you don't care about the comics about Darth Vader when he's after the events of the Death Star blowing up, and you get to see him go on this. There's this little kind of mission he goes on, and then
he's still a bitch.
Boba Fett comes to him and says like, "I got the name of the pilot you wanted to know," and it says
Boba Fett's still a bitch.
He says it's Skywalker, and Darth Vader literally starts to freak the fuck out and goes and takes down, almost like, doesn't take down, but he confronts Sidious, and Sidious ends up like freaking out and making him a bitch. And then Darth Vader.
Timeline, when does that happen?
This is between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, of course. So,
I don't know. I think I'm surprised, especially with comic books. There's a lot happening right now. Like, with Darth Vader almost getting killed by Plo Koon's niece or whatever. I think that's super cool. Like, Plo Koon's niece claiming...
I'm not saying they're bad. They're all fun things, but none of that affects the movie. Because at the end of the day, in Empire Strikes Back, Vader knows it's his son, and we don't see him freaking out or anything like that. All I know is last time I saw Vader before the original trilogy was no... And you know what? That doesn't matter. In the comics, they can make him as cool and calm and cold and badass as they want. Doesn't matter.
Damn. Well, let us know what you stand. You stand on canon or against it?
I'm not against canon. I'm not saying they should stop making canon. I'm just saying the second I see something like, oh, Thrawn's gonna be Rebels, it's like, oh, he doesn't matter to them. He's just somebody that's used to sell, and he matters to them a small fraction, but when they talked about, like, oh, we'll do these story groups and make sure canon makes sense and all this. Nah, like, it makes sense, I guess, but, like, they don't really care about it.
Okay. Well, let us know where you are then.
Han Solo. Let's talk about Han Solo movie. So, I guess we can just start with, what is your anticipation going into this, and what do you want from this movie? Because you're a notorious Han Solo hater. Just like me and Canon, you want Han Solo to be erased from Star Wars.
I'm not a hater. This is a Captain America thing all over again.
It's not, because both him and Cap, I don't think was in your Marvel top 10.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, and Han's not in your Star Wars characters top 10.
Have we done a Star Wars characters top 10?
No, but would he be in there?
Honestly, for me, I feel like out of everyone, the character-wise, like, I have more characters that would fill those slots over Han Solo. You know, I got Clone Troopers, I got Bounty Hunters.
Oh my god! Bosk is gonna fucking her Dengar over Han Solo because he looks cool with his rap and his hair.
Oh fuck. But no, I just, I have like a more variety of characters that I really like and would probably choose over Han Solo. That being said, Han
Just
Solo
liking
would
characters because they
probably,
look cool shouldn't be a thing.
Han Solo would probably claim like spot 11 or 12 or something.
That's
But,
awful. And you call me not a Star Wars fan for this whole canon thing? You, sir, should be ashamed
when
of
I was
yourself.
watching the original trilogy, I was a fan of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, you know.
You can still be a fan of Han. It's not like you only get 3.
Yeah, I was a fan of Han. I didn't mind him. It's
Obi's
not
in
like I
one
didn't hate
fucking
him.
movie.
Yeah, and I loved Obi-Wan. Heck, Obi-Wan in the original trilogy set the pace for so many fans of the Jedi. You know? And then when Yoda came in, oh god, it was even crazier. Boba Fett, I mean, Jesus. But yeah, no, for me, like, don't get me wrong, like, Han Solo, I never was able to connect with him full on like I could with other characters in the movies. That's how my relationship with him was. Watching these trailers, I feel like this is the gateway into, you know, becoming a Han Solo fan. And I think this movie,
Oh god. This movie better not be the one that fucking, like, I hope so, I guess. But the fact that not 4 performances from Harrison Ford, a few of them even great performances, and like that's not like Force Awakens doesn't put you over the hold. It's
No,
fucking
great performances, yes. Harrison Ford as Han Solo, outstanding, definitely yes. You know, that's one of the things I was skeptical about this movie with, is because I love the fact that Harrison Ford.
What are you doing right there?
I love the fact that Harrison Ford was Han Solo. He did it so well. He was great at it. The thing was, though, it was just the character of Han Solo. Just I couldn't find that solid connection. But
why? He's a smuggler.
I was
with
always
a heart of gold.
bounty hunter over smuggler. That's who I was. In the games, I would choose the
Because
bounty hunter role.
they got jetpacks and
No,
they
no, no.
masks. Yeah. Boba Fett for the win! That was Taylor as a kid. Like, that's why. He just takes shit that looks cool over, like, a great win character. No. Why would Boba Fett be in your top 10 for a guy who fucking flies into a wall?
Because
and
you
goes
don't
to
know
Sarlacc
you don't know his backstory.
His backstory, yeah, I do. He's some fucking little kid in Clone Wars who sees his dad's head get chopped off. Take out all the backstory of all those books and expanded universe and whatnot. All your cherished stuff, like, oh, he survived the Sarlacc pit and he's so cool. No, he didn't survive the pit. He's down there. He sucks. He did nothing in these movies. He literally did nothing. He just transported Han Solo. The only reason you like him is because he looks better. Where Han is a fully fleshed out character. He's the most fleshed out character, except for Kylo Ren, who's coming up above him. But, like, God damn.
I like Boba Fett because of the journey he had to go on from a child to make his way as the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
He's not the greatest bounty hunter in the
Who's the
galaxy.
greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy?
Not him. Probably Bosk over him. What did he do in the movies? Original trilogy, what did he do? Take out your canon shit.
Original trilogy, he managed to not fall for the float away with the trash trick that the Han Solo devised. He was able to outsmart them, and when the Star Destroyers left, you see him float away in the trash too, you know?
Okay, so he did one thing. He figured out the trash. That means he's a great, like, navigational guy. He's not a great bounty hunter. He's just a smart guy.
Because he got to Cloud City on Bespin, and he managed
He
to
did
set
nothing.
the
He was
trap.
pointing a gun, and then he put it down, and then he walked to cement Han Solo, carbonate Han Solo. And then Jaws Palace, he stood there, and then he did nothing. And, oh, didn't he just get, like, hit in the back by a blind Han, too? And that's what made his jetpack go?
If you hit a jetpack, I'm sure you could tweak it enough so it flies out of control.
What a bitch.
But, you know, it's the fact, too, that, you know, yes, he is a clone, but, you know, he's the only Mandalorian feel that we get in the original trilogy. And that's another...
make him a great character.
Oh, yeah, for me, that's another reason why I'm a huge fan. Because of the fact, you know, Mandalorians, I love their culture and I love their
He
theme
loves the armor.
so much. Mandalorian armor is
That's all
outstanding, and I
that's what happens. Things that look cool, you just find other reasons to love them or like them. Yeah, you do. If Han Solo had a fucking jetpack on, I'm sure he'd be your all-time favorite Star Wars anything. Because he just has a fucking vest and a white shirt that doesn't do it for you. Oh, and you just find reasons. Same thing as the First Order. Like, they always gotta have some good reason. It's like, not really. They're just kind of awful people. But no, you always find these things like, if anything, the predator in the tree. Oh, there's some reason why this predator is above all different than all the other predators. Because he gave that look to it. He gave that look to a guy.
I don't like Captain Phasma, so there's that.
No one likes Captain Phasma. Don't use that.
Oh my god. Well, no, I generally, yes, I do like Boba Fett more, just because I do know his story. But that's why,
You know Han's story!
only from episode 4 onwards, though.
But this is the thing, because you didn't. When we asked you, hey, why don't you go read the Han Solo books? No
I have
jetpack, no
read some.
jetpack.
I have read some Han Solo books. I read the one where
You
he's,
read, you had the first page, and then you skip the last, and then like, oh, I'm done.
I've read the one where he fights the zombie stormtroopers, the Chewbacca.
Oh,
That one was really good.
Canon is such a fucking stupid thing. Zombie stormtroopers, are you kidding me?
It's actually a really well written book.
Okay, sure.
But no, I just think that this movie is going to be a perfect entryway for me to connect with young Han Solo. That I can finally appreciate.
You just love young, not old Han Solo.
I do love
when
old
you
Han
do a top
Solo.
10. Oh, young Han. No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I wanna.
The fact that he's not in your top 10 for Star Wars characters, the guy who's in 4 films, who's one of the integral parts of Star Wars lore altogether. Without him, you're talking about all stupid canon shit like, oh, Eden gave them the fucking codes for this. How many times has Han Solo saved the goddamn universe? But no, Eden is like this bigger character than Han Solo.
You know what? When we do top 10 Star Wars characters, I will write out my top 10 and I will actually have valid, solid reasons backing each character why they're top 10.
No, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will. I swear to you, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
and when he turns, his gun just looks so sick.
Oh, but like, seriously though, I mean, yes, my anticipation for this movie is very, very high now. To that last trailer.
Is it?
Yes, absolutely. Seeing all the more scenes with Chewbacca and seeing him in action.
Where did I lose you? At one point you were on my bandwagon of it not being that high, your anticipation.
Well, that was before. The other trailers weren't fully doing it for me, but they were working up their way slowly for me. And now this trailer was fantastic. As I said, like Chewbacca, I am so in love with his, like just seeing him fight more often in this and just go to town. Super excited. Lando just looks fantastic. I'm just super, super pumped to see, this is Han Solo just looking for a shot to get in as a smuggler. He doesn't care about anything else. He just wants it. And the only thing he cares about is Chewie. He doesn't even seem to have love for the Falcon yet, but until he gets his hands on it, it's not his yet, yeah. But I love, my favorite part is at the end of the trailer. It's like their whole cliff note here. They have Chewie just look like he's going to die, but we know he doesn't die.
Maybe he does.
Yeah, it's just a different Wookiee this whole time.
He names it Chewie. Come on, Chewie's actually a slave Wookiee that Han Solo bought.
I do love that they do drop the age in there because most people don't know that he's 230 years old in the events of the sequel trilogy. So I think it's good that people kind of know that he's 190, which in Wookiee years is really
it's a
young.
canon thing. It's good that you know. No one gives a fuck.
190 years, it's like young, really young adult for Wookiees, so he's super young. And just to see other Wookiees popping in this movie too. We haven't gotten that since Revenge of the Sith, so I'm super stoked to see more Wookiees chilling around because most of them were slaves at this point in time. So
well, some people think that one Wookiee is Nala, his wife.
His wife, yeah, from the Christmas special.
One day we are gonna do.
So that'll be canon now.
I guess that means I don't know if we're gonna have time to do it before Dylan comes back because usually we do Star Wars commentary tracks. I know we have to do one for Rogue One. It's not the same.
Yes. Oh, we have to do one for Rogue One.
Well, I don't know if Dylan's back in time. So.
Well, Dylan will fall asleep for it. He doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, my anticipation for this movie. It's very minor. It's a Star Wars movie, so of course I'm very excited. I think this is a movie that I didn't feel I needed, especially... I think they kind of changed it before when they said it was like 5 years before New Hope. I'm not sure if they're sticking with that. If that's the case, I still feel a little bit, I don't know. I guess the thing is for me, I don't know if I worry that we do too much stuff and we kind of get boxed in, and it's a bad comparison, but it's what I worried about with like the newest Saw movie, And I was talking about how if you look at those Saw franchises, no one's gonna get this because people don't even watch much Saw, but like the whole 7 movies they explained a lot of stuff that happened in the past. And when they were doing this next one, I was like, please don't do too many flashbacks because I don't need more like trying to fit in the past and like more pieces trying to fit in, and that's why I worry about this. I think they're gonna do a fine enough job. I was worried about that. There's still a risk, but from the trailers, I think it's a pretty like short span of time that this movie's gonna take place. Like I can see the movie take place over like 2 to 3 weeks. So like they start on this adventure, they meet some people, and then they disband. Obviously, something's gonna happen to Han Solo. It kind of makes him like a rigid character. I think he's gonna have like kind of maybe already have a semi heart, like not a heart of gold, but that good guy thing, and something's gonna turn him over. Like Woody Harrelson I think it was this trailer or another trailer where he's like, oh, you can't trust anybody, they'll all turn you eventually. So either he's going to turn on him or maybe like Cart from Game of Thrones or maybe both of them. So you're going to see why he doesn't trust people, which is fair enough. I just don't want them to play up too much of the he's a real good hero. I just want to be like he's an undecided guy and he's trying to figure it out. Because that was the point of New Hope, that's him becoming the hero and realize, or not even New Hope, just that trilogy of him realizing that he is a good person and he can do more than just be a smuggler and screw people over. So I don't want to see that arc happen in this film and then the arc again happen in New Hope. So that's one of my worries. My biggest one is, and some people, if you don't feel this way, if you feel, hey, it's going to be his own performance, that's great. So All Ehrenreich. From the trailers I've seen so far, I don't get the vibe of Han Solo. There's moments where he's around Lando or around Chewie, I can kind of like, it's almost like if you squint and you see something, like I almost be like, oh, I can kind of see it. And maybe the actual movie I'll feel that way. But for me, if he doesn't feel like Han Solo, that's a big thing. And I've heard that from a lot of other podcasts I listen to where it's like, excuse me, you can't take it as that. Like, he's not playing Harrison Ford. It's like James Bond, it's like a different iteration. It's not, because he's playing a character that's supposed to be 5 years younger than a character we meet later on. If he doesn't feel like that, if I can't connect, that's going to be a big issue for me. And this is the other point I throw a contention for people that throw that out, like, oh, it has to be, it can be different and fine. For years, everybody has just been praising Ewan McGregor about how much it feels like old Obi-Wan. And now with this, because some Star Wars diehard fans are worried this movie could suck or it won't be that good, it's like, oh, well, if he's not like Harrison, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's his own thing. No, like, we've been praising Ewan for years for doing so close to what Alec Guinness did. So I hope he can surprise me. Even if it's just kind of like a 50%, that's fine. But just so far, if I don't buy it to Han Solo, then I'm not going to buy this movie. So my expectations are low, but they're to the extent that I still think it's going to be a good movie. I still think I'm going to enjoy it. I don't think, other than maybe like Last Pirates movie and Maleficent and Alice in Wonderland 2, like Disney, it's very few and far between when they make bad movies, or even just like a little less than decent. They usually, that's the thing with this, like, I've loved the score in these trailers, I love the cinematography, like, they always make sure their films look good, they're acted good, they're well shot, they're well written for the most part. So I think Disney it's a very hard time to make a bad movie. So I think that I'm still going to enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be an awful movie. I think it's going to be similar or maybe less to me than Rogue One. I guess what I'm looking for is a good time. I'm looking for some emotion. I'm looking for them not to stomp all over Canon too much, as far as, because this is an important one. This is an actual one that matters because it's a movie. It's not just some book. Yeah. You can't ignore it. So, there's just stuff too, like if we do the Kessel Run, I always worry about that too of, hey, does it live up to expectations? You hear about for years, when you see that, it's like, that was kind of the thing with the prequels where I've always been turned off, right? With Rogue One, I guess people thought about how they got the Death Star plans. I did, but not to the extent of, it's not something I've thought about all the time. With the prequels, that premise of like, want to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader, that sounds great. That's something I thought about all the time as a kid. When I saw how it happened, I'm like, that's not what I wanted for him to become Darth Vader. That's sometimes I worry about Han Solo. Even stuff like there's rumors, or not even rumors, just like, I think someone said a comment, I don't know if it was Ron Howard, the director, just like, someone maybe implied that Han Solo's been lying about the Kessel Run, and that for me is like, like that's the stuff where prequels, and that's why sometimes, one, I don't like prequels because you usually know the story, you know how it ends, and there's a lot of stuff that there's no stakes, you kind of know the beats where it's going to go, and two, prequels have a big risk of not necessarily ruining, but putting a bad light over some stuff. And that for me is why, after the prequels, I don't love Darth Vader as much as I did after the prequels, because it really hurt me with Anakin and Sand and all like that quick switch. It really hurt me, and I've never been able to look at Darth Vader the same way, and that's what I don't want with Han Solo. So I'm excited, but I'm more just like intrigued about it. I'm not like, I will see it, but this is a movie that, like, if for some reason I didn't get to see it opening night, I would be like, oh, damn it. Like Deadpool 2, I'd be like, oh, I gotta see it. Infinity War, I don't know, whatever else is coming out, like, in the near future as far as, like, comic books. Even something like Venom, I'd be, like, more intrigued. This is just kind of, they need to impress me, so.
It looks like time frame-wise, it is roughly 5 to 7 years after Revenge of the Sith.
6 months before New Hope.
And 14 to 11 years before A New Hope.
Okay, that makes it a bit better.
So
yeah. So now we can talk about some predictions and whatnot. I'll just throw it out there because we talked about him so much because he's so cool. Do we see Boba Fett in this movie?
Yeah. I think in some shape or form, I think so. Boba Fett and Han have that history with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some way we will. And I think, I think we will because, we got that little nod of the Mandalorian armor in the background of the collector's kind of house there.
The collectors?
He's a collector. He collects
So
all
they
these...
call him the collector?
That's what I'm calling him. Because
Okay.
he collects stuff, so... but yeah, I think maybe they do say it in the trailer. He says, yeah, some collector wants this stuff for a job or whatever. So, yeah, it just seems like Boba Fett could be in it. Just the fact that it had the Mandalorian armor was so super cool. I feel like it's something that Disney is definitely kind of focused on because of everything that Disney could have done with the TV show Rebels, they tackled Mandalore and Mandalorian culture,
Mm-hmm.
and that was something they could have left in the dark with Star Wars Clone Wars. But now it even seems like they're giving it some more light in this Han Solo movie with the armor, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'd love to see Boba Fett.
I think we 100% see him just because if in Rogue One they're gonna throw in the fucking Cantina guys from A New Hope, they can't resist throwing in Boba Fett. So
Are you rolling your eyes?
Cause it's so stupid. That one I can give it a pass. It's kind of like okay, that's kind of fun. I fucking hate when they throw in C-3PO and R2-D2 though in Rogue One because that was so
That would make
unnecessary.
sense though.
They don't. Why do you need to show it?
Why? Why
We
not?
just saw them in Force Awakens. Like it doesn't even matter. All this is like, where is everyone going? Like so stupid. It's just fanfare for the sake of fanfare, And I usually say, hey, let people do that, let them show it off. But Rogue One, we just felt unnecessary at times.
So 100% Boba Fett.
100% Boba Fett. I'm trying to think. We see the Castle Run, and then what is the game again that they? Why am I forgetting the name of that? Lando and Han play for the
So like Carchisi or I don't know.
We're not experts, fans.
Carpacci.
Carpacci.
Carpacci. Yeah.
Good old Carpacci. Let me see.
We can see there's actually a game.
What?
You see if Carpacci's a game.
No, I'm just seeing what the game is called.
Oh, I thought you were looking up Carpacci.
I'm not looking up Carpacci.
Sabak.
Sabak tournament? Sure.
Game of Sabak.
What up? So I think we'll see that. We're gonna see the Castle Run. Do we see? I guess we probably see stormtroopers and stuff because.
Well, we saw them in the trailer.
Yeah, so I guess I that one's tough for me because I always thought Han's experiences with the Empire and whatnot would be just a New Hope, but I guess they've been around for so long it's bound to happen.
Like who? The Empire's been around so long?
Yeah, I kind of always think, it's just New Hope when he started bumping into these.
No,
guys,
I think if he's smuggling, then he's obviously got encounters, and he says too, I've outrun Star Destroyers all this time before, so he's obviously, you don't get into a life of crime and smuggling without bumping into the Empire, so.
No, not at all. Because I'll pause right here. Did you have any prediction points? Because I only have 2 other things to bring up, but then probably be done.
Yeah, I have one that I'll throw out.
Okay, hang on. I'm just trying to find out the box office for the last 3 Star Wars movies because I'm going to ask if it'll be what that will be, and then I'm trying to find Rotten Tomatoes as well.
Rotten Tomatoes. Of course.
Hey, there's only one Rotten Star Wars movie, and it's Phantom Menace, so. Alright, bring up your prediction thing.
Okay. I have to say, my prediction, I'm thinking that, we got a little bit of the Force mentioned in Rogue One and that whole thing, and with Chirrut and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're really gung-ho on kind of keeping it that way for the Solo movie, but I feel like we're not going to get any Force kind of thing at all. That's my prediction. But on the other hand, I could be wrong because I know they could play off the fact like Han Solo, I've been all the way across this galaxy, I've never seen anything about some old powerful force. I feel like they could have something kind of render him to think that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what kind of event will take place.
I don't know if I don't think there will be an event. I think there'll just be some sort of mention of it or some conversation about the Fourth, whether it's him or some character having that conversation with him. But it will be in a sense to like make his sight or make his. I don't know what I'm looking for here. I have no idea. I'm looking into the Force trying to find myself an answer, but at least make. I'm gonna have a drink of water.
It's a very powerful drink of water you just took.
I have no fucking clue. Just something's gonna happen that I'm gonna make him think that way. Or like you said, there could be something where someone says they have the Force and they're proven to be kind of like a fraud or something like that, and that's where he has his mind made up. So I think there'll be some mention of it. I don't think there'll be any Force wielders or anything. I don't want to see any lightsabers or Darth Vader or anything like that. I'm so glad those rumors aren't around anymore.
Yeah, there was the Darth Vader rumor, wasn't there?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like,
want Darth Vader.
No,
again.
and it's like, fuck, just because of Rogue One, we're gonna bust him out, so. Okay, so the last two, because those kind of story ones, we talk about what we wanted. So box office. So box office, I guess I can ask you two things, because obviously, one, I don't think it's not gonna gross more than Force Awakens or Last Jedi overall, or be opening weekend. So I feel like this comes down to Rogue One. With Rogue One, it had... I want to find the opening weekend and I want to find overall. So overall it made $1 billion. So just a little over $1 billion. And that opening weekend it made $155 million. Do you think it'll beat Rogue One in any one of those senses?
No.
No?
No. I wish I could, but I think Star Wars is just unfortunately going on a downward trend. Rian Johnson, as great as Last Jedi was, has put a bad taste in the fans' mouths because the fans are little whiny bitches.
Wow.
It's true. People, they're weekend warriors, and...
I don't think it's true. I think you're just... I think some people are complainers, but I think some people have valid criticisms of that movie that I think are right. Would you call Dylan, Tyler weekend warriors? Because they're...
No, but they're not disrespectful about it. And they're
Not
open.
everyone's
They're
disrespectful.
open. No, I grant it. I'll take that back in the sense that no, not everyone is disrespectful. But Dylan and Tyler, they're open and to see Solo and stuff like that. They're not just straight up. Last Jedi sucked.
They're also
Fuck
on a
Star
podcast.
Wars.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those fans that you're saying that hate Last Jedi and everything, they would still go see Solo.
That's what I see in the comments too. And there's like, oh, I fucking hate Last Jedi. People comment saying, oh, you're gonna be the first in fucking line on Solo. There's probably truth to that.
My thing is it's tricky with Rogue One because I before would have easily said no because Last Jedi had some backlash, but I don't even think the backlash is that big. I think it's pretty small and tiny. I think there's a large group of people that have problems with the film or don't like them, but the people that just like spit out venom and hate the film, I think that's smaller. It's tough because you had that and you had all these reshoots and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the reshoots happened so long ago, and I don't think many people care about the reshoots now. It's people like us. But I feel like the people that care, again, they're already going to see it, right? We would either see it because we're fans, or people would see it because they're curious. Like, I'm trying to think of people that are my mom, people that are mainstream, that, see Star Wars maybe just because it's a Star Wars. The only reason why I don't know why, but I'm gonna predict that it's gonna be even just a little bit higher at some point. I think it will have a higher opening weekend than Rogue One. I don't know if it's total gross. Total gross to me, that always comes down to if it's a good movie. I could definitely see this movie coming out, and we'll talk about reviews after, but just kind of people saying, oh, there's some good moments, but it's kind of meh. I don't know if it's going to come out where Rogue One, there's people like yourself calling it the best Star Wars movie, and it puts the war and Star Wars and everything like that. I don't think the reviews for Han Solo are going to be that good. I think they'll be solid to great, but if they're just on the solid spectrum, I could see it making less than Rogue One in the long run, but I'm just going with... It's tough because Rogue One had the hype of Force Awakens, but then also if you strip everything away and you just go mainstream, the name Solo is very impactful in Star Wars. It's Vader, Yoda, Skywalker, like Kenobi, like if you made the top 10 names, Boba Fett, apparently Han Solo wouldn't be in Taylor's, but like if you made the most recognizable and famous ones, I think Solo even has a chance to be in the top 5. I think he might be more important than Kenobi and Yoda if you really look at it, especially with Harrison Ford coming back on Force Awakens, I think that just made the character bigger. Kylo Ren has ties to those characters. So that's where I'm going on it for just opening weekend. I don't know overall, but just the mainstream seeing the word Solo and seeing the character and saying, hey, it's about Han Solo. I could see it having especially if it reviews really well, then it's definitely going to. But I still think it has a chance opening weekend of doing a bit better than Rogue One. The only thing that hurts it, I think it helps that Avengers is a little further away from it. The only thing that hurts it a bit is Deadpool 2, but I think it's fine. I think it's a week after Deadpool.
Plus, it gets the kids too. I mean, lots of kids are Harrison or Han Solo fans. They're Harrison Ford fans.
They love regarding Henry. Yeah, and I don't think Deadpool will have much of an effect really, because it is strange that it's coming out I think a week after, but really it's because it's rated R. I think it'll be fine. Han Solo's more families, and most people will see those back to back like us. So, the other thing I'll ask for, you love your critics, but we're talking about reviews and stuff like that. I'm just taking reviews of the last newest ones. So you had Force Awakens at 93% Rotten Tomatoes, and if you don't like Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that, then sorry, you can go away, because it is a big deal in art. We did for Infinity War. It is a big deal in this movie community, especially as a podcast. It's something fans and people talk about, right? People go, when's that score coming out? And we look at it, and I feel is a good gauge. And once again, trust critics you actually like. Don't just look at the number. Look at the number if you're on the fence. To me, like if there's a movie, if it's some movie that I don't know if I'm going to go see, that will help. But if it's a movie that you are really interested in or you want to get more in depth, I still say, whether it's our podcast or tons of critics out there, actually still listen to reviews. Read the reviews. Don't be like Taylor Field, who I post an article in our Facebook group and it's like, that doesn't make sense, or Netflix coming to movie theaters, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, that title, false advertising.
It doesn't matter. There's almost every article I post in the group, you never read the actual article, and the second you read the first 2 lines of the article, it would explain and say, what's this about, Travis?
The title is the hook.
But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter. Then read it.
But that's how it's the hook.
I
did with the Netflix one.
And you're giving
Netflix coming to movie theaters. Netflix is coming to movie theaters. I'm going to click this and read this. And you know what?
Though. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, because you said...
No,
you said Netflix is coming to movies?
Because the title said Netflix coming to movie theaters. I'm like, oh, Iron Fist on the big screen. And you're like, that's not what it is. I'm like, well, that's what the title says.
If you read that, that's an interesting article, let's see. And you read it, you're like, oh, no, that's not it.
Oh,
it's the same way as the Pacific Rim 3-hour review thing. You give them shit for Rotten Tomatoes, but you do the same stuff. Force Awakens at 93%. And like I said, there's a big thing we'll talk about. Last Jedi 91%, and then Rogue One with 85%. Where do you think it's gonna? Do you think it's gonna be higher than any of those? Lower? Where do you think it's gonna go?
It'll be higher than Rogue One. I think it'll be between 87 and 90%.
Really? You think it'll be higher than Rogue One?
I think it'll be higher.
I'm going like 80 to 85, and I think it's gonna be like 83, 82. I think it'll be lower.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, Last Jedi for me didn't take over like number 1 spot. Rogue One obviously is number 1 for me, followed by Empire Strikes Back. Revenge of the Sith is up there.
Is that actually your top 3? Rogue One, Empire, and Sith?
Have we actually rated all of ours?
Oh my god.
That very well I think is my I could say that confidently. I can say confidently that my top 3. Yeah.
Confidently. What the fuck is
What is your top 3?
Empire, Hope, and Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
Force Awakens, the fucking shit. In a good way. It's not a retread. But it's a homage.
But yeah, no, I think Han Solo, I think it has potential to have a lot better like fan and kind of hype over Rogue One. But for me, like it's just I love the rebellion Empire aspect of Rogue One more than the smuggling underbelly crime syndicate scheme of Solo. But I think I'm down to go on that thrill ride. I know when I had my dad actually watch the trailer for it, I saw.
What the fuck is this? I raced you so bad, son.
You're not a Han Solo fan.
You're not coming to the Dutch.
He actually cracked a smile because he's like, oh, is this the new is this about Han Solo when he's young? And I'm like, yeah, and he got excited for us. I think a lot of older people, they're gonna tune in and be like, this is cool. Crime is cool with Star Wars, and
crime as cool in Star Wars. What?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you don't want to do crime in real life, but I mean, when you get to see crime in Star Wars with Han Solo and stuff, I think it, you know, for the older people that liked Harrison Ford, I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think you could make more. And you said, though, it's going to review better, but you still think it's not going to make as much.
I don't think it's going to make as much, but I do think people are going to...
And that's both for overall... Because overall gross would have to hit $1 billion, and then for opening weekend, it would have to hit over 155 million. So you don't think it'll do even opening weekend?
No, I think it'll be kind of like Last Jedi. It'll make
Last
less...
Jedi made more than Rogue One.
Oh, did it? Oh, I thought you said it didn't make as much.
What? No, Last Jedi made so much more than fucking Rogue One. Well, I don't know if I can say so much more, but like it made more. It's a main saga film.
Oh shit. See, I don't even keep track of their gross earnings that much. I know Force Awakens is at the top.
Force Awakens, I think, was...
Well, that was Force Awakens, then Rogue One, and then Last Jedi.
No.
So straight up Sidious.
No. Let's see. Sorry, podcast listeners. So Force Awakens was $2 billion movie.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue One was just over $1 billion, and then Last Jedi made a whole 300 million more than it.
Okay.
So yeah, big drop, 700 million drop from Force Awakens, but I still think that's to be expected, and still opening weekend. I think it's the second biggest opening weekend of all time because Rogue One was 155 million. Yeah, opening weekend 220 million.
Okay.
So I think I won't say backlash. I'll just say what people didn't like or loved about that movie. I don't think there was many repeat viewings. So I think Solo could have a lot of repeat viewings. So
okay. Well, yeah, no, I'll stand by that. I think it won't make as much as Rogue One, but I think it'll review better.
Okay, anything else you want to say about Solo before we get out of here?
No, I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna be a good time. I guarantee I will see it twice.
Doesn't even, what if you hate the movie?
Well, I'll be seeing it free the second time, so.
Crime, bad thing,
Star
folks.
Wars crime.
Well, where can they find the crimes that we can commit online?
The crimes of Travis Hell. Crimes of
Oh
Grindelwald.
God! Don't get me started on that prequel franchise. Fuck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I'll watch Rogue One 6 times before you make me watch Fantastic Beasts again. Oh,
first
God.
Fantastic Beasts or the second one?
Both.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I'd actually maybe watch the Star Wars prequels over Fantastic Beasts.
Really?
Just because at least there's some unintentional funny stuff. For Fantastic Beasts is fucking boring. It's just boring.
I did fall asleep
pointless.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, with your fantastic smuggling internet connection out there, you can tune in onto your Google. And on Google, you're going to type in Facebook, and on your Facebook, you type in Geekverse Space Podcast.
You don't have to use Google if you don't want to.
You gotta put the space bar, not the space word, and you're gonna get to our news feed. It's gonna have awesome links to all of our merch, our sites, everything. It is truly fantastic. You know, what a time to be alive. We got our 4th consecutive Star Wars movie in a row. I'm so pumped. What?
I guess. Couldn't you just technically say what would it be, our 10th? Because, what do you mean consecutive?
Consecutive, so we got back to back every year. Our 4th one.
But technically this isn't
10 years.
I guess this isn't consecutive though, it's happening in the same year.
Oh shit, so literally
No, wait, no it's not. We're in 2018. It's happening in the same calendar year.
Same calendar year, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, it's gonna be a good time. Star Wars, Han Solo.
Let's hope it's going to be a good time. We will be reviewing it, so definitely check that out. Cantina Conversation will be back. Maybe we'll do a recap episode of Solo after this. I'm not sure, because we did our Canon debate, so we'll have to see. But Cantina Conversations is back. Go to geekverspodcast.com, go to Facebook, go to Twitter. Please follow, you get all the updates on our shows, announcements, things like that, so you don't miss episodes like this. Or Gauntlet stuff or anything like that. I know there's probably some big Gauntlet stuff happening right now. I think the ladder match is getting closer, so definitely check into that. Check into all our spin-off shows. Check into our weekly show. I gotta promote that more. Geek First, it's weekly. Every week we're here. Usually a Friday or Saturday. You can watch us live on YouTube. You can get the podcast. Great times ahead. Go to SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube. Please like, subscribe, rate, review. That helps us. That helps us get the word out there. That helps us get more fans, which helps us create more content, which helps us get more gear. So we thank you very much for that. Head over to Patreon if you like what we do here. You can get stuff like this. You could be watching this probably a month early, this episode. What were you doing if you didn't watch a month early? That's why you should go to Patreon and subscribe and help us out. So thank you very much. And may the force be with you. You never say always.
Am I supposed to say always?
It's a Star Wars thing. You never say it. God damn.